Hey, Books to Huda. My camera has 15% battery left, so we'll try to get through this quickly. I just finished Matilda by Mary Shelley. This bears no semblance to the Matilda musical, novel, book, movie thing. It's in this beautiful edition I picked up at Literati in Ann Arbor, part of the Art of the Novella series, which is really cool. Spoiler alert! I'm going to explain the entire plot and then talk about it. Took me under 24 hours to read it, and it would have been quicker if I hadn't had plans yesterday. Really good, I think. 3.5 out of 5 stars? I don't know, because like the more I think about it, the more I like it. Like it was a pleasurable reading experience, but also I've been listening to so much Witch Please and the Secret Feminist Agenda podcasts that I'm just like, oh honey, no, like what are you doing? Girl, get some therapy. She has supreme daddy issues, which are not really her fault. They're not her fault. They're not at all her fault. Her father, spoilers, this book's wacko. It's really thought-provoking though. I've already written like, it has lovely pages at the end, and I'm assuming these are for notes. Like, that's what I'm using it for. So this makes me want to read Frankenstein again because there are some parallels. Like I see what she's interested in. She's interested in creation or being created, people being created by their surroundings and by other people. Like Matilda definitely sees herself as a creation of her father, I think. She sees herself just as not worthy of the world, which is the same as the creature in Frankenstein and Dr. Frankenstein himself. But these books are beautifully published. I love lots of margins. I mean, they're so like simple and just minimalistic, and I love it, and I want to get more of them. And I'm getting paid tomorrow. This has such a small cast of characters. It's only Matilda and her aunt and her dad and her mom, who dies really early, and that's not a spoiler, and her friend Woodville and his dead wife, or well, not wife. Lots of dead people and sadness and just so many people needing therapy and not getting it. Right? Like, I just want to tell everyone in this cast to get therapy, especially the dad. Well, I mean, Matilda deserves it more, but the dad, like, wow, he needs some therapy. So the basic plot is that Matilda's father and mother like grow up together and they fall in love very young and they get married really young, and then Matilda's mom gets pregnant with her and the mother dies after she gives birth to Matilda, which was very common back then. This is romantic period? When was it written? I don't know. I'll put it here. The dad goes kind of nuts and deserts Matilda and leaves her with her crazy, not crazy, but kind of, there's a word. Antipathetic is not what I'm trying to say. Antipathy-filled aunt? I don't know. She just doesn't really care about kids, but she is not one to shirk a responsibility, so she brings up Matilda and teaches her how to play the harp, and they live in a Scottish castle, and it sounds kind of amazing. And Matilda is raised in a Scottish castle and gets to run across the moors, and I'm just sort of like, that doesn't sound so bad, you know? And then Matilda's dad comes back when she's 16. He is like, okay, I'm ready to be your dad now. And they meet, and for 2 or 3 months they have like a blissful father-daughter relationship, and then Matilda starts having a suitor, and Matilda's dad gets jealous. And he realizes this is what's happening to him and gets really broody and angry and jealous and tells the guy friend never to come back. And so he doesn't. And Matilda eventually, after a couple of months of this, like forces her dad to tell her what's up, and he tries not to, but not very hard. He gives in pretty easily. Like, he should never have told her, and he destroys her because he's like, girl, I'm in love with you. You look like my dead wife. I love you. And then the next day he kills himself because he feels really terrible. And Matilda tries to save him from killing himself by he jumps off a cliff, and she can't save him. And then she spirals into depression and goes and lives by herself in a cottage for 2 years and talks to almost no one. And then this nice guy Woodville shows up, and the description of him is what really got me thinking, because every guy in this period who's like a good guy is described as like the greatest human being that's ever walked. He has like angel wings and has a halo, and you know, everything he says is beautiful. Bees feed off his lips, which is a really nice image, but like I'm a little frustrated with the way that people are described. They're either all amazing or they're all terrible, or they're like corrupted. The females and both of the women who die early, like the mother and Woodville's fiance Eloise, they're both like too pure for the world and, you know, angelic beings, but they're not all that smart, you know, they're not as smart as the men. Forgot where I was going with that, but basically Mathilda, I kind of am angry at Woodville, even though it's not really his fault, but he leaves Mathilda alone and goes back to his mom who's sick. You know, not faulting him for that, but take Mathilda with you, dude! Like, or hire an escort to come with you. Bring her servant along. I don't know what he's thinking, like, oh, you'll be fine. Even though the day before that, or like a couple weeks before that, she asks him to commit suicide with her. She needs some help and you desert her. You leave her alone in her cottage, away from everything. And then she, like, when he leaves, she wanders off in the woods and probably catches pneumonia and then dies in like a week. And this is her project. She writes this. It's all from her perspective, and she writes this whole thing down as a letter to him. Like, no one else is gonna read it, but here's my story, Woodville. You asked to hear it, here it is. And just kind of like, how's that gonna make him feel? It's gonna make him feel pretty terrible. And why didn't he take her with him? Who knows? The question I'm thinking about right now is, because Mary Shelley can write so well, can write so convincingly the male perspective like she does in Frankenstein, why did she choose to write this from Mathilda's point of view and not either Woodville's or the father? And I guess the answer is because then we are forced to see things as Mathilda sees them, and we get sympathy for her, and we feel really bad because the patriarchy fucks everything again. I don't know. Maybe it's also a call about mental health awareness. I'm not sure if that was really a term yet, but Mathilda has some serious issues that need addressing. So does everybody else in this story, except the people who are dead. Basically, the point of this story is that only in death do you find happiness? I don't know. So all in all, really good purchase, $10, worth it. Very quick read. Was really great to read something classical again. Do plan on ordering more books in the series because they're beautiful and quick reads and thought-provoking and some great authors. The first one I'm gonna order is The Lifted Veil by George Eliot, which I've already started on Kindle, but I haven't read it mostly because I want to be able to take notes on it. Like, Kindle is just not for me, even though it is very convenient and sometimes free. Okay, my camera is at 9% now. It's probably gonna die, so I guess that's all of my thoughts. Have you read this? Any books in this series? Do you love Frankenstein? Let me know. Okay, let's do it.